Welcome to the Launch to Impact Leadership Podcast. My name is Dr. Keena, a leadership development coach, author, and former nonprofit administrator. I teach emerging leaders how to master the skills needed to effectively engage their staff, strengthen teams, accelerate performance, and position themselves for long-term success. Now, if this is your first time listening, welcome, and make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep building your leadership skills with me each week. Today's episode is for the leader who feels like you're carrying more than ever. More expectations, more needs, more complexity, and all while navigating fewer hours, fewer hands, and fewer dollars. Across the board, programs and organizations are faced with tight margins and stretched capacity. Budgets are tighter, teams are at capacity, and yet the mission has not gotten any smaller. So today we're talking about how to do more with less without losing your drive, without losing your clarity, and without losing yourself. And in these times, leadership isn't just about managing resources, it's also about managing your mindset. Did you know that throughout history, some of the most transformative ideas and biggest shifts came forward in times of scarcity? Now, once we get past all of the mourning, the loss of the resources, and we stop focusing on what we don't have, constraints can push us to reimagine the processes, reimagine our partnerships, and even reimagine our possibilities. But today, leaders are finding new ways to meet growing demands by leveraging technology to automate their routine tasks, forming partnerships to expand resources, and using flexible scheduling to maximize energy and productivity. Also, they're adopting AI tools to reduce administrative workloads, and we'll talk about a little bit of that soon. You see, innovation isn't about replacing people. It's about releasing them to do the work that really matters. And you can start this by simply asking your team how you might reach specific goals with half the resources, or what could be done to help simplify, share, or automate your processes. You see, these questions don't shrink your vision. They actually expand imagination. And when resources shrink, perspective becomes the difference between pressure and possibility. Perspective is the foundation upon which all mindset shifts occur. Perspective will allow you to see that scarcity doesn't always signal lack, and instead it can be an opportunity for refinement. Lean times have a way of highlighting what matters and placing a strain on that is lacking. And when it comes down to it, everything just can't be done. So clarity then becomes non-negotiable. Here are a few reflection questions that can help leaders gain a little bit more clarity. Start by asking, what are the things that we do that truly produces impact? What activities have become busy work disguised as importance? You know, that thing that you do that really nobody pays attention to, but we all say we have to do it, and maybe we have to do it because we've always done it that way. Also ask, what can be simplified without sacrificing what is mission critical? This is the perfect time to prioritize what actually moves the mission forward. The good thing about required and reduced resources is that it narrows your options and it forces you to get crystal clear on what you truly should be focusing on. Numbers matter. Budgets, staffing, timelines, outcomes, all of those things are really important, but numbers don't tell us the whole story. If you want to improve the way you're managing resources, you will need to do some investigating and ask the right questions so you get beyond the qualitative analysis and also focus and include the quantitative analysis. So ask things like, what do we have? What can we maximize? Where can we innovate? And what is most meaningful? You'll see that all of these questions are more positive focused, more positive perspective, and not focused on what's missing, what's lacking, what we don't have. It's easy to focus on the negative, but our conversation today is about taking what you do have and making the most of it. One of the most powerful tools you can bring into resource-tight seasons is reflection. Not in a fluffy, performative way, but in a grounded and strategic way. So try starting meetings with one resource, one strength, or one win that is helping to move the team forward. And then ending meetings by naming one thing that is working or one thing that you're looking forward to. Reflection won't magically create more resources, but what it does is it magnifies your perspective, and perspective is what influences performance. This focus is necessary for both financial capital and, in this case, most importantly, human capital. As a leader who is responsible for managing your individual mindset, organizational mission, and team momentum, you must be aware that most burnout doesn't even come from lack of resources. It comes from the misuse of resources, and especially the human ones. Hold that thought for a second. If something I've shared sparks an idea, share this episode with a colleague. Growth spreads when we share it, so let's keep growing. Instead of stretching your human resources, we need to be careful to steward those resources. So I encourage you to first get clear on what your goals and priorities are. A 5-year-old once told me, you know what, Miss Keena, if you don't know where you're going, anywhere will do. And you know what? He was right. So figure out what you should be focused on, and that will help you to figure out how to spend your time. Once you are clear on where you should be spending your time, take a look at how you're actually spending your time. If there's a misalignment between your goals and your priorities, then either your priorities need to shift or you should be working on getting the right things accomplished and not just spinning your wheels. Busy doesn't always mean productive, and busy isn't always going to get you to your goals. This is where you need to start making your adjustments. This is where you are eliminating the things that are in the way of you getting the results that you and your team need. And as a good steward of resources, you are not just protecting the financial capital, but you're protecting human capital as well. Now, if I can back up to reflection for a moment, one of the things that I have noticed is that many supervisors are very deficit or scarcity focused. It is human nature to internalize scarcity, and in the workplace, we tell ourselves things like, I should be doing more, I should be handling this better, or I shouldn't need help. But here's the truth. Your worth is not determined or measured by your output. Your identity is not defined by your to-do list. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to rest, and you are allowed to say, I can't carry everything. As long as the rest and the deficiency doesn't outweigh your productivity, it's totally normal. Give yourself permission to pause, permission to breathe, and permission to recalibrate. Healthy leadership can't be powered by depletion. It's powered by alignment and awareness. Now, if you remember nothing else from this episode, I want you to remember this. Stewardship, not strain, sustains the mission. So this week, I want you to be intentional about reframing scarcity as refinement, stewarding people and purpose, not just programs, protecting your energy like it's part of your budget, and leading with clarity and not guilt. Thank you for listening to the Launch to Impact Leadership podcast. Ready to go deeper? Then grab my book, Launch to Impact, or join us at the Launch to Impact Leadership Summit this summer. Links are in the show note. This is Dr. Keena, and until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building momentum. Take care.